Hi, my name is Malia Samante, and I will be presenting on Saraswati's Cosmopolitan Whiteness, the Effects and Affects of Skin Whitening Advertisements. In her essay, she argues that the desire for white skin color goes beyond the notion that people desire the racialized category of Caucasian white. Rather, they desire cosmopolitan whiteness. First, I'd like to give some background on that term. In several studies of skin whitening ads, there is a common interpretation that women's desire to be Caucasian is because of their white skin. They are extremely focused on race. However, Saraswati is arguing that they desire a whiteness that is virtual or separate from a racial category and can be seen and modeled in ads from many different parts of the world, such as the United States, Indonesia, and Japan. This leads to my first passage. On page 415 in the first paragraph, quote, "In both the Indian and Indonesian versions of Ramayana, an early Indonesian literature, beautiful women are described as having white shining faces, like the full moon. This evidence suggests that 1. Preference for light-skinned women in Indonesia predates European colonialism, and 2. The light-skinned beauty standard should not be read as merely a local or indigenous construction." Unquote. For both countries, lighter skin was considered ideal. It highlights how this beauty standard can be maintained across countries, which therefore supports the influence of cosmopolitan whiteness. Now, turning to the specific construction of these ads, I turn your attention to page 416 in the first paragraph. Quote, "The word cosmopolitan conveys the aura of a citizen of the world." Unquote. Quote, "It evokes the image of a privileged person, someone who can claim to be a citizen of the world by virtue of independent means, expensive tastes, and a globe-trotting lifestyle." Here, cosmopolitan is framed within consumer culture to mean consuming the other's exoticized and commodified culture. So when Caucasian white women make up the majority of the models in skin whitening ads in both countries, like America and in countries like Indonesia, they are conveying a global message to women that white skin gives people more freedom to participate in their own local society and, more importantly, in the world society. It spreads the beauty ideal all over the world. In conjunction to this freedom or liberty women can get from participating in this cosmopolitan whiteness, happiness is also attributed to it. On page 417 in the second paragraph, quote, "In these whitening ads, happiness is offered via the root of whitening practices." Feminist cultural studies scholar Sara Ahmed argues some objects more than others embody the promise of happiness. In other words, happiness directs us to certain objects, as if they are necessary ingredients for a good life. Women decide how they feel about their body, i.e. happiness, based on purchasing or not purchasing products that are illusioned to be necessary for happiness. The factor of happiness relates back to the obligation of body work that Saraswati, Shah, and Relihan mention in section 4 of the book. Body work is not always a free choice when negative psychological effects occur if a woman decides not to participate in changing or manipulating her body to fit the beauty standard. Saraswati also ties back the virtual aspect of cosmopolitan whiteness on page 418 in the second column in the second paragraph. Quote, "These ads hence function as part of the faciality machine because they help the audience rehearse their perception of women with white skin color. Moreover, they also help maintain relations of power in which whiteness holds the supreme position. This ad feeds into the reconstruction of her white-skinned face as beautiful, desirable, and positive effect generating. These are the faces we are educated to desire." Unquote. On the same page, Saraswati says skin whitening products are supposed to make your appearance white. It can only make you virtually white. Therefore, the virtual whiteness is mostly seen through the faces on the ads. People, in effect, focus on how their faces can become more white and disregard the reality that other parts of your body may not send that same message. This further explains the concept that whiteness is never fully, quote, "real" or achieved. Lastly, Saraswati concludes her essay in exemplifying this concept and exposing the work of power relations. On page 419 in the third paragraph, quote, the color tan is advertised without undermining the supremacy of the Caucasian white race. Instead, these ads merely affirm positive effects towards women with white skin color and, quote, race, and, of course, their cosmopolitan whiteness, unquote. She provides examples on how tanning products convey how dark people can get without actually referring to real skin colors, such as deep bronze. This completely avoids any association or desire to have black skin. They also usually advertise during the summer season, which shows the emphasis on darkening someone's skin color only temporarily rather than a permanent change. In all, it shows how, quote, whiteness adapts, mutates, and co-opts new forms of whiteness to maintain its supremacy, unquote. With that, here are my discussion questions. First, has skin whitening ads or tanning ads ever impacted the way you have felt about your body? Were the underlying influences of white power structures apparent to you? Why or why not? And second, think of the way you maintain your appearance, whether that is the use of makeup or your fitness regimen or the clothes you wear. Do you feel like you are freely choosing to do them, or are there instances where you are impacted by the beauty standards shown in today's media?